Today we are going to look into the management of drug submissions and applications related to activities with Health Canada, and we are going to mainly focus on the content and of course the way that we are going to apply for a pre-NDS meeting. The guidance document that you see on the left side of the screen is the one that is valid as of, or effective date is as of again 2nd of August 2022. Obviously, if there is any other update from Health Canada, we are going to update also the content. And in this guidance document, Health Canada is going to allow all of the pharmaceutical companies to do exactly what they need in order to be in compliance with regulations, such as the application for having a pre-NDS meeting. Now, what is an NDS? An NDS is a new drug submission. And this is, as per the Health Canada regulations, this is the way that we are going to apply to register a drug, a new drug. Obviously, we can also have a generic drug. In this case, the new drug submission is going to be called ANDS, standing for Abbreviated New Drug Submission. We can also have some other types of submissions that we prepare and we send to Health Canada, such as clinical trial application. And for each of those, we can obviously apply for meeting with Health Canada review officers or scientific reviewers. And we are going to, of course, prepare a package. So the package for the pre-NDS meeting application, that's what we are going to see today, is here. It means that we have to go through the guidance document, and then we are going to look into, again, in which section we will need to find that information so that we will read the regulation. Then we are going to look into templates that are given to us by Health Canada. Then we continue with completing the templates, preparing the documents, and then we will send it to Health Canada. And then we are going to wait in the case of a new drug submission meeting with scientific reviewers. We are going to wait so that we are going to have a time in order to meet with Health Canada scientific reviewers. So what I'm going to now do is to look into, again, the table of contents. So the table of contents, we have to go to section 7.1. Okay, so as you see here, 7.1, as you see, is guidance for implementation, pre-submission or pre-application meetings. This is in page 18, and we are going to look into how we are going to prepare for meeting requests. And obviously, how we are going to prepare the meeting packages that we are going to send to Health Canada. So after review, we are going to have a time in order to meet with Health Canada scientific reviewers. So let's go to page 18, and we are going to continue reading the regulations and then looking into how we are going to prepare this submission package. This is exactly what a regulatory affairs professional does. What happens is that each time that we have a project, each time that we have a task, each time that we have to deal with Health Canada, it means every day, we will need to go to Health Canada website and find out the guidance documents related to the specific job that we have to complete. And once we read, we will need to read the content of the, again, the guidance, and then to just follow the instructions. It's like an assignment in a university or a college. It's, again, the way that we are instructed in order to, again, prepare these packages in a compliant way using the same standard. So what we are going to see today is also the standard way to prepare those packages in order to communicate and work with Health Canada. Now I'm going to look into the first again section, which is 7.1, pre-submission on or pre-application meetings. So it states that pre-submissions or pre-application meetings may be requested by sponsor prior to filing a submission or an application. So submissions can be new drug submission, it can be an abbreviated new drug submission. I also gave you an application, an example such as clinical trial application, where we will need to prepare again a package and then to have a meeting with Health Canada scientific reviewers. And during those meetings, what we do is that we talk about our project, we talk about our drug, we talk about what we have done so far, we talk about our, again, company, about all of the scientists, all of the professionals who are working on the drug. And at the same time, we also talk about the drug itself, about adverse drug reactions, about, again, the population that is benefiting from this drug or that is going to benefit from the drug, as well as obviously, again, proposing to Health Canada a few dates so that we are going to say, okay, we would like to meet with you over the next month or a few weeks, and we would like to propose you the following dates. And then Health Canada is going to respond you back by telling you which date would be the appropriate date for all of the scientific reviewers to meet with your company representatives. What is also interesting is that when we are writing, again, the content for the pre-NDS meeting, this is the place where we will be able to connect with scientific reviewers. This is why we also have in the slide, again, that I'm going to show you as well, in the slide, again, that show that we are going to prepare, we're also going to write some questions related to whether or not what we are talking about the statistics, for example, that we are talking about. If, for example, if you're having some type of inclusion and exclusion criteria for a clinical trial, is it okay with Health Canada reviewers? Is there something else that Health Canada reviewers would like to add? Do they have any question? So by having this type of interactions with Health Canada, and I tell you it's a privilege that we are having, we will be able to I would say prevent having some places, some instances of misunderstanding, or sometimes maybe a lack, because we know very well that nothing is perfect. We do our optimum. However, it's always good that we prepare, again, the package, and then to have a discussion with Health Canada scientific reviewers in order to look into whether or not what we are doing is correct, if we are on the right track, and if Health Canada is also looking into maybe more information. So coming back to the regulations, I'm going to just look into the text, section 7.1 of this guidance document on the management of drug submissions and applications for Health Canada. On the left side, I'm going to see that it says to us, sponsors may request a pre-submission application meeting with the appropriate directorate within the Health Canada, and they have any question or concerns prior to filing the following. So for which type of applications or requests we can have a meeting with Health Canada? These are all pre-NDS, I would say, SNDS, I would say DIN A, for example, meetings. So we see here that we have a list of all of those meetings that we can have before submitting our packages to Health Canada. So here, for example, if this is related to a drug submission or application, such as NDS, SNDS, or supplementary new drug submission, ANDS, which is abbreviated new drug submission, SANDS is, again, supplementary abbreviated new drug submission, and DIN A. We can also obviously have a pre-submission meeting before submitting our CTA or clinical trial application in Canada. Obviously, it applies also to request for a combination product classification, a request for advanced consideration of a submission under the Notice of Compliance with Conditions, NOC-C policy. It can be a submission for extraordinary use of a new drug, or a submission or application relying on third-party data, etc. So now, of course, the list is longer than this, but what you are now looking into, preparing, what you need is to look into section 7.1.1, where we are talking about a meeting request. So what is in this section? In this section, Health Canada is telling us that if you would like to apply for a meeting before submitting, again, a package, we will have to prepare the following. And they give us, again, the instructions. And within the instructions, they also give us a template. So not only they tell us exactly what we should do, what standard we have to, I would say, follow for Health Canada, but also they give us templates that we will need to use. So obviously now we understand that when we are using a template, we don't change the template, we don't change the format, we don't remove any tables. We use the template as a placeholder, and we are going to complete the template, and we are going to stay in compliance with Health Canada requirements. So one of the templates that you can see here is on the right side of the screen, where we are looking into a pre-new drug submission request for a drug, which is a template given to us by Health Canada, and you can find this template on Health Canada website as well. Obviously, after this pre-submission, pre-new drug submission request for a meeting, we are going to look into a template for a presentation, so in PowerPoint format. This is again for companies that would like to prepare, of course, to have the pre-NDS meeting, and they will then need to prepare for a cover letter, which is the template that we have here, and obviously they have to complete a PowerPoint presentation, and of course we're going to look into what is in the PowerPoint presentation, looking into a template. So now I'm going to go back again to the document on the left side, and I'm going to look into, with you as well, we are going to look into, again, I would say the content. So let's look into what we need to put into these documents. So first of all, we have to find, of course, and have in advance or have prepared in advance the purpose of the meeting. So is it a pre-NDS meeting? Is it pre-phase 3 meeting? Is it I would say a pre-response to NOD or NON, etc.? So for the sake of our presentation, we are looking into a pre-new drug submission meeting with Health Canada. Then we will need to look into the specific details regarding the product to be discussed. So we have to give Health Canada information about the active ingredient, the dosage form and therapeutic classification, etc. And we'll look into the templates in a few minutes. Then we need to look into the list of preliminary questions to be addressed during the meeting. So usually we put these questions at the end of the presentation. However, if again a sponsor, a company thinks that this is better to present a topic, for example, talking about the therapeutic class or the dosage, or for example, a clinical trial for that drug, if they think that it's better that they have a slide right about their questions right after the topic that for which they have a question, you can also do it as well. If not, regularly I see that we put the questions at the end, so in a PowerPoint presentation or a slide at the end of the PowerPoint slide deck. Then we are going to have to talk about the submission or application information. We have to add those as well if applicable, and then we have to give to Health Canada 3 possible meeting dates and whether an afternoon or morning meeting is being requested. This is again the standard. And then we have to go over suggestion regarding the review expertise necessary to discuss the proposed issues. For example, we are going to say that we would like to talk more about the chemistry, or about the biopharmaceutical reviews, or about the clinical studies, or we would like to talk with biostatisticians in Health Canada. Now, if the drug submission will rely solely on third-party data, in this case, again, we will need to again talk about the third-party data in the cover letter as well. Now, don't forget that we usually have the regulatory project manager, not only, of course, in Health Canada, but also in different companies. So these regulatory project managers are those people who are trained on project management, but project management related to regulatory tasks. So someone with only a project management certificate may not be able to do the job if they don't know what are the tasks and regulatory tasks that are involved in, for example, the preparation of a new drug submission. So regulatory project managers, we have them, of course, in Health Canada, and also in many companies. We have the people who are project managers, but with their specialty or expertise in regulatory affairs and drug submissions. Now, coming back again to, or continuing with again, the left document, here we talk about the meeting package. So you, as a regulatory affairs professional, what you need to do, you just looked into the guidance documents, you read the section 7.1 and 7.2, sorry, 7.1, and then here we are looking into a section 7.1.2, where Health Canada is telling you what you have to put in your meeting request package. So here, what we do, we have to have a cover letter, and the cover letter has a template given to us by Health Canada. That's the one that you can see on the right side of your screen. So we are going to go over this as well. So this cover letter is the first element of your package when you're going to send it to Health Canada in order to receive a reply from them telling you which of the 3 dates that you propose to them is going to be okay, so that your company will be able to connect with Health Canada on Zoom, for example, on Teams, or again on any platform that they are going to meet with you. For how long? Usually it's 2 hours meeting. And then you have just again to continue working on this cover letter. Then what they want is a proposed meeting agenda. Okay, we are going to see where we are going to write 3 dates with the proposed meeting agenda. Then they want us to have a brief slide presentation. This is the PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to show you, but of course that's a template. After the template, I'm going to show you an example of a real pre-new drug submission application, not only for the cover letter, but also for the PowerPoint presentation. And of course, in our presentation, we have to give a brief summary of the drug product. We have to identify of the indications for which the approval is sought. Then we have to talk about the proposed strength and dosages. So they're all going to be information that you will have to add into your PowerPoint presentation that you're going to submit to Health Canada. So obviously, it also has a summary of the clinical development plan. It has a summary of development of product, including any changes in production process, etc., if it applies to the meeting that you're applying for. And then you may also have, again, brief summaries of the safety and efficacy data relating to the drug. And then it may be an overview of the market history. It can be a list of specific questions. And of course, the projected submission and application filing date. Now, the next statement, of course, the next section is about the post-meeting requirements. So I'm not going to go over the post-meeting requirements, but not usually, as it is written in the guidance document, we will need to file, I would say we have to write the meeting report. We also have to keep a documented proof of the fact that the meeting did take place. This is just by taking, for example, or keeping the emails received from Health Canada. And when you are going to submit your new drug submission, you also have a section in the CTD structure in Module 1 where we have to add all of the documents that we have related to any type of correspondence that your company, your pharmaceutical company, had with Health Canada before the submission of the new drug submission. So what I'm saying here is that when you're having a pre-new drug submission meeting with Health Canada, first, we looked into what is needed for preparing the package. Then I talk about the fact that, okay, we have to propose 3 dates. Then we have to submit the package to Health Canada. Then we will have a meeting. After the meeting, we will then need to document the meeting by writing the meeting minutes, by keeping the emails and any correspondences that we had or we received with Health Canada. And we have to keep those documents and add them into our new drug submission in CTD format, and there is a placeholder or a sub module, again, which is made specifically for any correspondence that we had with Health Canada. So now let's go over again the cover letter template. On the left side, I'm going to keep this document open obviously, because we are going to look into whether or not, so again, we are in full compliance with the requirements of Health Canada based on this guidance document by completing this letter. So now let's go over the letter. This is exactly how you should be writing. So anything where you have the again, the highlighted yellow, this is where you have to complete it. And obviously, when you're going to complete this form or this template, you have to remove anything which is highlighted. And you're going to submit the final, again, cover letter, along with your final PowerPoint presentation for your pre-NDS meeting within your pre-NDS meeting application package that you will send to Health Canada. Let's look into, I would say, closely into the template that we have for the pre-new drug submission and, of course, the request. So on the right side of this, screen, you see the template that is given to us by Health Canada, and you can find that in the Health Canada website. On the left side, as I already mentioned, we have the guidance documents related to the management of drug submissions and applications. So why I again show this to you, that's because you will need to again always refer to this document. And when you are now looking into preparing a package for the pre-NDS or pre-ANDS or any other pre-submission meetings, you will need to come to this section, which is section 7, and look into what you need to prepare as a package and send it to Health Canada. Now, on the left side, we talk about the cover letter. That's what we see. And on the right side, we have the template given to us in Health Canada website related to the same template. So we are going to get this template. Now we are going to, complete all of the places where it's highlighted in yellow. Of course, you have to remove the highlighted, I would say, text. And then you are going now to complete the, again, these tables. So the first table is the purpose of the Pre-NDS meeting. This is exactly what you can see, which is required from us on the left side. So coming back to the template, you have to now write down the meeting attendees from the applicant. So this is you. Usually in this type of meetings, we have, I would say, several people. We may have the VP of Regulatory Affairs. We may have the VP of, for example, I would say clinical research or clinical affairs, for example, or medical affairs. We may have someone from research and development. So we may have sometimes even an investigator. It depends on what is the topic that we are going to talk about in the meeting. So we have to write down here who will be there from the company, the job title, and from which organization, because it may be someone who is working for, who's one of your consultants. So you're going to add the name of the organization or the consultant, for example, who is working with you. Then if you have the application information, you are going to write it down. You have your product name. You also talk about the dosage. Don't forget this is the template for the cover letter, but still we have to add the information into this template as well. And then we have the other information to add, like full drug name, active ingredients, dosage form, strengths, etc. Then we talk about the company details, headquarters, addresses, website, URLs, etc. And this is very interesting and important to know that you put here the proposed meeting dates. You're going to write down, you're going to propose 3 dates. Now you say morning or in the afternoon, as it is written in the guidance document. And then you're going to continue with the details regarding the product to be discussed. So you give information about the product, and then you're going to talk about your regulatory strategy. So what you're going to do, these are some examples that you can, of course, choose, and you may have some other strategies that you would like to talk about. And you, for example, you say to Health Canada reviewers that, yes, you are planning to first look into the effect of your drug in, you looked into the effect of your drug in adult population, and then you looked into the effect of the drug in elderly population, and then your strategy was also now to go back and to look into the effect of the drug for a specific indication in a pediatric population. This is a strategy. So you can have different types of strategies, not only for clinical trials, but also for the preparation or the formulation. You may say that first we would like to have a liquid formulation, but then we would like to have in the next step some tablet formulation, and you may also now give some reasons why you would like to now change the, I would say, the format or the formulation of your product. So these type of examples, it can be anything related to again, your product. It may be about the marketing, it may be some discussions about the I would say adverse reactions or the safety profile of your drug. So anything goes here, but these are just examples that we have in this template. And of course, we continue with the list of questions. So here we have some again questions. Can we discuss the available data on the use of a drug? What specific risk management strategies are being proposed to address any potential concerns related to pregnancy given the limited data on our product? So these are the questions that a company can prepare in advance. And we add those questions in our, not only the cover letter, but also in our PowerPoint presentation. Because when we present, we don't read the cover letter. The cover letter is just a documented proof of, say, the cover letter saying exactly what we are planning to do and what we are asking from Health Canada. However, the PowerPoint is going to be projected, I would say shared in online meetings as well. And then we are going to look into, again, what is the, I would say, how we are going to address those questions, what Health Canada may be doing or telling us for helping us. So now that we have this, I'm now going to, I showed you already the template. I'm going to now close this, the template. And now I'm going to look into a real new drug submission letter, okay? And I would say this is a completed work. And we are going to see what, for example, we can add into this letter. So I already showed you the template. Now here, what we do is that we are going to look into which therapeutic directorate we are going to contact. So here for us, for this letter, that this is related to, of course, the student, or again, it's a portable infusion pump. So this is a combination product or drug with a device, of course. And then we are going to again continue with the template that was given to us by Health Canada. So as you see, this is exactly the same template. We just write down who we are. We are also going now to complete this request with the address of the company, the email as well, and then we continue with the template that we had already. So we put the names of individuals, again, the job titles and the organization. Obviously, this letter is just made based on I would say, information. This letter doesn't have any proprietary or confidential information. So anything that you may see in the letters or what I'm going to show you in the next examples are all from publicly available information and again used for the sake of this presentation. Now we continue with the template that Health Canada gave us. As here we are looking into a completed letter. We will then look into the application of information. So this is the product name. You have the dosage. You have the drug information, full drug name, active ingredients, and then the therapeutic indication. Then we go to the next section, application information. What's the company? Where is the headquarters? What is the address in Canada, of course, because we are looking into a new drug submission. So we are dealing with Health Canada in Canada. So we have to, of course, give the address of I would say, the office of the company. But the headquarters can be in another country. There's no issue with that. And now we have also the contact information for the headquarters. And then the proposed meeting times, we are now giving when. But here, of course, we usually put morning or in the afternoon. It's okay. You can also put the hours, but they will just understand that this is the morning, because Health Canada, I mean, they may not have, they may not give you exactly a meeting at 11, but we understand. Usually they ask us to put morning or afternoon. Then here we continue with details regarding the product to be discussed, product name, etc., the dosage, therapeutic indication. So the information that you see here is just coming from the product monograph. Or of course, if the product is not already obviously for NDS, is not yet on the market, we can look into the investigator's brochure or any other, I would say, company data that's available only, of course, to regulatory affairs specialists or staff in the company. So you as a regulatory affairs, again, professional working for a company, you will have access to all of the information that you need in order to complete this type of, I would say, answer to these questions. And then specific population, we looked into that as well. The use is for that. Now the risk summary, if there's any risk. We also talk about the clinical considerations, about the data, about the population. Then you have a section for the risk summary. You see, I'm just completing the, I would say the template that was given to me by Health Canada. So we look into clinical consideration, and then we have a section for regulatory strategy. So here, that for us, we wrote to ensure the successful submission of the drug for market approval in Canada. We have developed some regulatory strategies. One of them is comparative analysis of regulatory requirements. One of them was data bridging and gap analysis. One of them was adaptation for the Canadian market. Then the regulatory communication plan with Health Canada, and then risk management and plan for post-market surveillance plan strategy. So this is a regulatory strategy that you can see that we developed for this drug. Obviously, for your drug, you will have to just find other regulatory strategies. You can always look into, again, different clinical trials as well. We can also look into different potential competitors as well, if you have any competitors' drug in the market. And this is how companies, they build their regulatory strategy. They have a strategy for communicating with regulatory authorities. They have a strategy for fine-tuning, or I would say for improving their product or their formulations. They have a strategy for marketing. They have a strategy for, again, monitoring the safety profile of the drug. They have a strategy for looking into testing the drug in other populations, maybe other formulations, maybe, of course, other indications. So these are all different types of strategies that we can call regulatory strategy, and it will depend on the product, on the market, on the country in which, again, we are planning to market the product as well. And I, again, leave it to you, to your critical thinking, to you working in a company where you will have obviously plans. We call those plans brand plans. It means that each drug, each brand name is going to have a plan in advance, and this is going to be developed where we also talk about the regulatory strategy, how we are going to again make the product, launch the product, keep it on the market, improve it, make it safer. And obviously communicating all the time with regulatory authorities, and then even to expand the use of this drug in other countries as well. Now, the next and very important section of the cover letter is the list of preliminary questions. So here we can say, could we discuss any potential implication of reformulating this product? The second question could be, can we review the clinical trial data on the use of this product in patients with hepatic or renal impairment? So you see here we are looking into, again, new populations that can also benefit from our product. Another question can be, what specific labeling requirements will be needed to accommodate the transition from oral to infusion dosage form? This is now looking into a new formulation. So before we're looking into any new indication, here we are talking with Health Canada scientific reviewers to look into what would be the requirements for, again, changing the formulation of the product. So as you see, everything is having a communication with Health Canada scientific reviewers. These are scientists like us. These are professionals in regulatory affairs like us, because, again, we are on both sides. We are regulatory affairs professionals, and on both sides we are looking into the highest quality for the product, I would say, several formulations that are going to help different types of populations. We would like also, if we have a winning product, a functional product, we would like to find other indications for that because we want the population to benefit from those products. So these are all different concerns that we have. It means that us as regulatory professionals, our concern, our focus is on having safe and effective products, and of course with the highest safety profile. So when you are looking into writing a list of preliminary questions, this is really a discussion between professionals to professionals in the pharmaceutical field. Now we have professionals in Health Canada, they have their own job description, but they have the same focus. And in the company side, we have professionals in regulatory affairs and in science, but they also have the same, exactly the same, I would say, points where they are focused on, which are always product safety, efficacy, and of course, quality. Perfect. So now, once again we finish with the section with the questions, we will also talk about necessary review expertise to discuss the proposed issues. So we are going to say to Health Canada that we are going to bring people in oncology with expertise in oncology. We will have people in pharmacology with pharmacology expertise. We will also have a few doctors with medical expertise. And since, for example, our product is also dealing with a specific therapeutic class, we are also going to have other experts who are going to present a few slides, and then we'll be able to, they will be able to ask their questions from Health Canada scientific reviewers as well. So by writing down in advance that the meeting is going to have this type of questions and we're going to have so many diverse, people with a diverse background, Health Canada is also going to bring people with the same diverse background because the aim is to have a very productive discussion in order to bring this product that must be effective with the highest quality and of course with the highest, efficacy to the market. So in advance, this is where we are going to write down who we are going to have, and of course the company also has here the opportunity to write down about what is the expertise that the company has. And of course you can also add references, because if you are now dealing with information that is about your product, about clinical trials, for example, you will need to add some references as well in this letter. So now that we finished with the cover letter, I'm now going to go over the structure of a template for the PowerPoint. Obviously here I wrote this student name and student ID. That's because this is a template that I prepared when I am training, the future regulatory affairs professionals in the field. And this is why this is a template that I am sharing, of course, with my students. Now, this template is exactly the template that we have from Health Canada. The content is the same, and if you even compare what is in here and what is asked for on the right side in the guidance document, you will see that it's exactly what you need to prepare. So let's go over what should be in this the content. So first we have to talk about, this is a presentation, of course, so the first slide or second will be the briefing on meeting. So someone stands up, we just now talk, we thank everyone for joining the meeting. We also, on behalf of the company, we thank Health Canada for giving us the time in order to look into our product and then to answer to our questions. And then we have to, of course, talk about the meeting. When is the meeting? Because we have to document the meeting minutes. As I told you, the information will have to be added into the content in a sub module in the ECTD module 1 when we are going to submit our new drug submission in CTD structure. Now we talk about the meeting, about the drug itself, the indications, and then the sponsor contact. Then the next slide is someone, the same person or maybe another person from the company is now going to talk about the product, and he or she is going to say what's the product name, the active pharmaceutical ingredient, the dosage form, the strength, the class of medication, etc. Then we continue talking about the patient population and talking about the recommended dose in adult patients, pediatric patients, any other type of special populations as well. And we continue this presentation to Health Canada scientific reviewers by talking about the dosage form and route of administration of the drug. Don't forget that this is a pre-NDS meeting, so the drug is not on the market yet. So we need to give information that is not always public, okay? As I already mentioned, you as a regulatory affairs professional working in a company, you will have access to all of the information that you have. Don't forget that for dosage form and route of administration, we can also always refer to a publicly available website, which is clinicaltrials.gov, where we may find study protocols for a study for testing your drug, which is not yet on the market, but still that protocol has enough information which is going to be publicly available. So here, after this again slide, company again personnel is going to talk about the contraindications, warning and precautions of that new drug that is not yet on the market, and we just talk about this with Health Canada reviewers. Then we go over a tabulated summary or a summary written in table of clinical trials. We talk about the evidences and we go over the overviews. And then we talk about the preliminary questions, as I already showed you in the cover letter. So we write down all of the questions that we have here in this slide. And then this slide is going to allow us, the company, to talk about the drug, to ask questions about, about any potential question that Health Canada may have, in order to review our new drug submission and allow us to go to the market. Don't forget, we always want a drug with the highest quality possible, with the right indication, okay, for specific populations, obviously, and with a very high safety profile. Now, we also have other sections like review expertise. This is where we talk about what type of expertise we have in a company and what type of expertise is needed in order to respond to our questions that we already mentioned in the previous slide when we are going to again meet with Health Canada scientific reviewers. So this is where we write down pharmacovigilance safety, for example. These are experts in pharmacovigilance. They should assess safety data. Of course, what I wrote here, this is a template, okay? So we do not see exactly what I write here in all of the review expertise slides. We have to look into the, again, the questions, and based on the questions, we have to write down here who are the experts in our company, what they do, and then it should be, of course, relevant to the questions that we are going to ask. So by having the review expertise, Health Canada will see that our company has, of course, it is the people with this expertise, and we are going to ask questions related to this type of expertise that we see, as we can see in the previous slide. I'm going to show you an example of a completed pre-NDS meeting package so that it's going to be more clear for you. Then we are going to continue with Canadian Risk Management Plan and overview. This is where we will need to talk about how our company is going to monitor the safety profile of this drug when the drug is going to be on the market. So how this works? By having, again, different plans. One of them is reporting adverse drug reactions or serious unexpected adverse drug reactions. One of them is to have clinical trials, phase 4 trials, where we are looking into, focusing on the safety profile of the drug as well. So, of course, I'm going now to look into the briefing meeting, and we're going to understand what should be there. So that was what I showed you, was obviously, again, the briefing meeting, and that was for, again, a template. Now I'm going to show you the a completed briefing meeting, and of course this one has 15 pages, because as I already mentioned, you have to follow the template that Health Canada gives you, and if you need 2 slides or 3 slides, okay, you can add supplementary slides, but you cannot remove anything. This is the minimum information that we need from you. So here we are going to look into a drug. Okay, that's a combination drug as well, and then we just write down in the brief in the first slide we talk about when we are going to have the meeting. So usually it should be only one of those, because I'm saying when we present it, we will have to update the PowerPoint as well. Now we talk about the sponsor, the type of meetings, the drug. This is a combination drug, of course, the indications, and the sponsor, etc. Then the next slide, this is about the product description. And here we are looking into the information that you have to add in this slide related to your product. Then the next one is the patient population. So as you see, we are now just completing or adding information, completing each slide using the template that we have been given. So those templates are going to allow, again, the presenter and Health Canada reviewers, also scientists, in order to learn more about your product even before you go to the meeting, because when you send this presentation, you send it before the meeting, so all of the scientific reviewers will see the meeting, will see the slides. And then when we come to again attend your meeting, the meeting and your presentation, this is where they are also going to now think about additional questions, or they have their own questions. So this meeting, or I would say this presentation, is just the start of the meeting. The real thing that happens in the meeting is the exchange of information for the product quality, safety, and efficacy in between experts from Health Canada and experts from the company. And both expert teams, they want to make sure that the new drug that is coming, that is going to the market, has a complete new drug submission application, and it has, again, the safety, efficacy, and quality needed for the population. Now let's continue. And again, as you see, based on what we can see on the left, this is, I'm just going to highlight that, this is always related to the content of the presentation that I'm showing you, which is, again, the Pre-NDS meeting presentation. Now you just continue with dosage form and route of administration. You see some slides like this one, they don't have too much information, but still it has to be there. It's part of the template and requirements based on the guidance document, but you also have some slides where you have to add more information. And again, you just continue with, again, the content that is requested or required by the guidance document. Then we talk about the clinical trial overview and evidence. Now, if you need more slides, you can add more slides. You don't need to cite or to write all of the clinical trials about the product. Anything that will allow you, I would say, allow you to say that, yes, we did all of the previous studies in order to reach out to this type of information showing that our product has the efficacy that we need, the quality and the safety profile that we need. So you don't need to go over everything. Still, you can always have a tabulated summary or the summary of all of the clinical trials in one table if applicable to this meeting. Because as I told you, the meeting is not to present your new drug submission. The meeting is to go over your questions related to your new drug submission completion or application completion. So it's you having already finished your new drug submission package, and now you have some questions and you would like to talk with Health Canada for telling them that you did so far, you did so much so far, and that this is, again, just the conclusions of your new drug submission, and you are going to ask for further questions in order to make your new drug submission application more perfect. But it should be already perfect. Okay, so this type of discussion is really when we are already done with the new drug submission and we just need to update, or I don't want to say tweak, okay, can be tweaking, but updating or adding more information for Health Canada so that they see that, yes, obviously this drug is a good drug to go to the market. Now, we continue with preliminary question from the applicant, which is you. So here, for example, it's could we discuss any potential implications of reformulating the drug, which is in this, because here we're talking about a combination product. So there's a drug and a device. So could we discuss any potential implication of reformulating the drug in this, again, I would say, product? Or can we review the clinical trial data on the use of this drug? What specific labeling requirements will be needed to accommodate the transition from oral to infusion dosage? You can, for example, if you have a device here, yes, you may look into having a device that's allowing your patients to take it orally. But now you're looking into another formulation where it's going to be an infusion, okay, for example. So it's very interesting to see what is your regulatory strategy to make sure that you're having the right formulations. Okay, sometimes, some patients, they're having NSAID, strong NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and then sometimes those patients, they have to take it, but they cannot swallow, for example. In this case, not only we are having an oral formulation, but we're also going to have a formulation as a suppository. So this is another formulation. This is not maybe for all of the patients, but we do this so that patients, if they cannot swallow for any reason, they can always use those another formulation as well. So this is a type of strategy that we have to think about: formulations, indications, safety, of course, profiles, or even monitoring the safety as well. Now, another question would be, are there any additional non-clinical studies required to support the reformulated product for market approval? Or how should we approach the pediatric population in terms of clinical trial data requirements for this product in Canada? Now you have other questions. Could we discuss the most appropriate risk mitigation strategies related to the infusion site, for example? You can now continue with several types of questions. Everything is related to making sure that your new drug submission is optimal, that you can show that your product has a optimal quality, optimal safety profile, and optimal efficacy, and that you have strategies even to explore further to see if you can now improve the formulation or make a formulation for a new type of population. If a new other population can, special population can use or benefit from your drug. This is why we talk about these preliminary questions. So it's scientific, but it's also safety related. It can also be marketing related, ethics as well. Then we talk about the again, the review expertise. So here, for example, we talk about oncologists that will have to examine the effectiveness design and clinical trials. We can now talk about the pharmacology expertise, the medical expertise. These are of the type of expertise that we need in order to respond to the questions from, based on the preliminary questions in the last two slides that I showed you. Now, you also have another slide, which is about the risk management plan and the overview. So here you're talking about, okay, the major objective of this plan is to do what exactly? To closely monitor and address the safety and adverse events associated with the use of this product. Or you're looking into safety data collection, how you're going to collect the safety data collection, how you're going to even monitor the safety profile of your drug once you will be on the market. And of course, you continue with the routine pharmacovigilance activities. You're writing down about what you're going to do. You're going to write PSURs or obviously PBRERs or periodic benefit risk evaluation reports. This is related to the pharmacovigilance and I would say drug safety activities. We will also again collect, assess, report, and of course prevent adverse drug reactions, or we're looking into adverse events, but also preventing adverse drug reactions and specifically serious adverse drug reactions as well. So we talk about those pharmacovigilance activities. Then we are going to look into how we are going to again identify new risks. Here we talk about risk mitigation or prevention of risks. Risk communication, so communicating potential risk with Health Canada, but also with all of the stakeholders in the company, with patients, and then the company that is going to be in charge of preventing those risks. And then safety data reporting. This is for, again, reporting to adverse drug adverse drug reactions to Health Canada as well, and ongoing benefit risk assessment, which is part of the activities that the company has to entertain or to continue to do even if we are on the market. So we are going again to have phase 4 clinical trials. We can also do benefit risk assessments. We are also going to receive all of the safety data. We are going to have a database where we will have all of the safety data, and we have to look into the trends of the adverse drug reactions for different system organ classes, for example. And then we are going to look into how it works, why we are having those serious or adverse drug reactions, how we can minimize that, how we can train, I would say, our doctors, train the pharmacists, how we can even train or educate our patients, how we can even change the formulation or add some information, or even give a patient education tools in order to prevent harm or at least to reduce harm. This is why we have to have a slide related to the new risk identification and how we are going to identify new risks. And we talk about this with Health Canada reviewers, with scientists. And of course, we have to write down about the references. Don't forget that some of the references may be, of course, as you see here, internal documents. So here, for example, this is from this company. Some of the references that you have here may not have been published, but since you are representing the company and your team is representing the company, there is no issue with that. You can always talk about the internal data that you have, again, based on the, I would say, company databases. Okay, so in a nutshell, what we saw today was going over the guidance document, which is, again, management of drug submissions and applications of Health Canada. We looked into section 7, which is related to, again, the preparation of the pre-NDS submission meetings, and we talked about packages. We looked into the templates for the cover letter and for the PowerPoint, and we also looked into what are the elements that are needed or requested by Health Canada in order to add enough information so that we will be able to discuss further about, again, our new drug submission application. So thank you so very much for your attendance, and I hope that you enjoyed today's lecture.